U.S. Congress has certified President-elect Joe Biden's election victory, confirming that he will be sworn in as the U.S. president on January 20th. Incumbent Donald Trump released a statement saying that even though he disagrees with the election outcome, there will be an orderly transition of power on Inauguration Day. But earlier today, 4 people reported dead and 52 arrested after hundreds of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol in Washington, D.C., intended to disrupt the joint session of Congress to formally declare Mr. Biden's election win. Now, pro-Trump rioters broke through barricades and breached the Capitol building. Vice President Mike Pence was whisked off the dais and out of the Senate chamber. Senators were ordered to leave as well, but the mob soon charged into the chambers. In other parts of the Capitol, protesters made themselves at home, including inside House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office. About 3 hours later, the complex was declared secure and debate in the Senate resumed more than 2 hours after that, where lawmakers and leaders denounced the violence in strong language. Here's our U.S. Bureau Chief Nimal Ghosh reporting from Washington, D.C.
More significantly, even before the storming of the Capitol, Vice President Mike Pence said he would be doing his constitutional duty. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said the voters, courts, states have all spoken. If we overrule them, it will damage the republic forever. And upon reconvening, Senator Lindsey Graham, who has been a staunch Trump supporter, said enough is enough and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected. These are indicators that key Republicans are deserting or at least distancing from President Trump. Meanwhile, there are some calls to have President Trump removed from office through impeachment, for instance, but it's unclear whether that can be done, and if so, done quickly, because President Trump actually leaves office in 13 days on January the 20th.
In the wake of the violence, Mr. Trump's accounts were suspended by social media platforms, at least temporarily. Facebook removed his video message to supporters, saying that it contributes to rather than diminishes the risk of ongoing violence. Twitter blocked his account as well for 12 hours, saying his tweets severely violated its civic integrity policy. Former U.S. President Barack Obama issued a strongly worded statement. He said history will rightly remember the day as a moment of great dishonor and shame for the nation. He added, quote, "But we'd be kidding ourselves if we treated it as a total surprise." Well, President-elect Joe Biden called the rioting an unprecedented assault on U.S. democracy, saying scenes of chaos don't reflect the true America.
You've heard me say before in different contexts, the words of a president matter, no matter how good or bad that president is. At their best, the words of a president can inspire. At their worst, they can incite.
Leaders around the world expressed their shock and disbelief. In Singapore, Senior Minister Teo Chee Hean said he had been up watching the scenes unfold, calling it a sad day. While Parliament Speaker Tan Chuan Jin described events as unbelievable and hoped the situation will stabilize and peace and order will prevail. Well, there's lots to talk about, so I'm now joined by foreign editor of the Straits Times, Bhagyashree Gareka. Welcome, Bhagya. So let's talk about possible scenarios moving forward. There are reports that Mr. Trump's top National Security Council officials and a deputy White House chief of staff are considering resigning. Are you expecting more chaos within the Trump administration in the lead up to Inauguration Day on January the 20th?
Well, yeah, you're right. There are reports that some officials are resigning. Some have resigned, actually, but these are not cabinet ministers. And, well, now you have less than 2 weeks to go until the inauguration. And it seems to me that the authorities are preparing for the worst. There seems to be potential for more unrest. And the reason is mainly because Mr. Trump has not, recanted his claims that he won the election by a landslide, that he's being deprived of a victory. And as we know, he has millions of supporters who believe him and, do his bidding. So therefore, this potential and the situation remains quite fraught. I was reading reports that some security officials, just as the Capitol was being stormed, some policemen were actually taking pictures with the protesters as they were coming in. So that would show you the kind of I guess, sympathy that exists for some of his supporters. So, and this is happening in the US Capitol. What about the rest of the country? I think the authorities are alert to possibilities of unrest elsewhere.
Well, when Congress reconvened earlier today, lawmakers, both Democrats and Republicans, and including Vice President Mike Pence himself, denounced the violence at the Capitol building in strong language. We also saw several Republican senators who are going to object to states' electoral votes change their minds. So, Bhavya, does all of this mark the GOP distancing themselves from President Trump, or is all of this coming just a little too late with 2 weeks to go before, a new president is formally sworn in?
I think you said it. It is too late. At this point, even his closest political allies in the Senate and those who stood by him for all this while, Senator Lindsey Graham, for instance, so they have disowned the acts that Trump's, indulged in, his attempts and claims that he won the election, he was deprived of victory. And a few days ago, there was a significant, breaking by the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Mitch McConnell, another very prominent Republican, and who openly broke with him. But then this is very recent. This election was 2 months ago on November the 3rd. And if this still is a matter of discussion within the Republican Party, that just shows you the kind of, dissension there is. And this struggle within the Republican Party is only going to increase until, I guess, there is another leader who replaces Mr. Trump.